The espresso machine hisses behind me, but I can't hear it. I've never heard it. I can only feel the vibration through the counter where my hand rests, smell the bitter richness of coffee beans being ground, see the steam rising in delicate curls that disappear into the cafe's warm air. My fingers move automatically, wiping down the marble counter for the third time in 10 minutes. Anything to look busy. Anything to avoid looking at the door where Marcus stood 5 minutes ago, his bulk blocking the October sunlight, his eyes finding me through the afternoon crowd with the inevitability of a predator spotting prey. He's gone now. Stepped outside to smoke, or to wait, or to plan. But he'll be back. He always comes back. I'm Lily Chen, 26 years old, deaf since birth. Barista at Grounds and Pages, a cafe in Chicago's Gold Coast that caters to people who have money and time to waste on $12 lattes and overpriced pastries. I've worked here for 8 months, ever since I moved to Chicago to escape Marcus the first time. That didn't work out the way I'd planned. My phone buzzes against my hip. I don't need to check it to know it's him. The third message in the last hour. The pattern is always the same. Messages that start sweet and concerned, then shift to wounded, then angry, then threatening. I learned to recognize the cycle months ago, back when I still believed his apologies meant something. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. Sarah, my coworker, appears in my peripheral vision. Her mouth moves, and I catch enough to read her lips. You okay? You look pale. I force a smile, sign back. I'm fine, just tired. She doesn't believe me. I can see it in the way her eyes narrow with concern, but she doesn't push. Sarah learned early in our friendship that I don't like to talk about my personal life, that some doors are better left closed. The afternoon crowd thins as 4 o'clock approaches. Businessmen in expensive suits typing on laptops, college students sprawled across the vintage sofas near the window, a few remote workers claiming tables for hours at a time. Normal people living normal lives, unaware that the girl making their coffee is counting down minutes until her shift ends, and she has to walk out that door into the street where Marcus is waiting. I should call the police. I know this, but I've called them before, back in Seattle. Showed them the messages, the bruises I'd photographed before they faded, the documentation of every incident I'd carefully collected. They'd taken a report, given me a pamphlet about domestic violence resources, told me to get a restraining order. The restraining order expired 3 months ago. Marcus knows this because he knows everything about me, my schedule, my route home. The fact that I live alone in a studio apartment in Wicker Park that I can barely afford on a barista's salary. The door chimes. I feel the vibration more than see it, but when I look up, my breath catches. He's not Marcus. The man who enters moves like violence contained in an expensive suit. Tall, easily 6'3", with dark hair swept back from a face that could have been carved from granite. Sharp cheekbones, a jaw that suggests he's never smiled in his life, and eyes so dark they're almost black. He wears a charcoal 3-piece suit that probably costs more than I make in 6 months, and 2 men flank him immediately, their hands clasped in front of them in that universal stance of hired muscle. Every person in the cafe looks up. Some recognition passes through the room like electricity, fear, curiosity, respect. I don't know who he is, but everyone else clearly does. He stops just inside the door, and those black eyes scan the room with the precision of someone cataloging threats. When his gaze reaches me behind the counter, it pauses. Just for a second. But in that second, something shifts in the air between us. Then he's moving toward a corner booth, the most private in the cafe, and his guards position themselves with clear sightlines to both the entrance and the back exit. Professional. Military precise. Sarah touches my arm, and when I look at her, her face has gone pale. Do you know who that is? She mouths, exaggerating for my benefit. I shake my head. Dante Caruso, she signs, her ASL clumsy but understandable. We've been practicing together during slow shifts. His family owns half of Chicago. The name means nothing to me, but the way she signs it, with careful, fearful precision, tells me everything I need to know. This is someone dangerous, someone important, someone who makes baristas nervous and businessmen close their laptops and leave. I glance at the corner booth. He's already on his phone, jaw tight, speaking to someone with the kind of controlled intensity that suggests the conversation isn't pleasant. One of his guards approaches the counter and I straighten automatically. Espresso. 3 shots. Nothing else. His voice is gravel and smoke. He doesn't look at me when he says it, already turning back to his boss. I make the drink with shaking hands, hyper-aware of the scrutiny. Men like this don't come to cafes like ours. They have drivers who pick up coffee, assistants who handle mundane tasks. The fact that he's here, personally, in the middle of the afternoon, means something is wrong. When I deliver the espresso to his table, I keep my eyes down. The cup rattles slightly against the saucer as I set it in front of him. He doesn't acknowledge me, still focused on his phone, and I retreat quickly. Back behind the counter, I try to steady my breathing. My phone buzzes again. Then again. I pull it out, already knowing what I'll find. Marcus. I saw you looking at him. Who is he? My blood turns to ice. He's watching. Right now, he's somewhere outside with a clear view of the interior, watching me work, tracking every interaction. Marcus. You think you can replace me? After everything I did for you? Marcus. We need to talk. Come outside. My hands start shaking so hard I have to set the phone down before I drop it. Sarah notices immediately, touches my shoulder, concern flooding her face. What's wrong? I can't explain. Can't find the signs or the words. Instead, I turn back to my phone, type out a message with trembling fingers. Leave me alone. We're done. I've told you this 100 times. His response is immediate. Come outside, or I come in there. Your choice. The threat is clear. Marcus has never cared about making scenes, about consequences. He grabbed my arm in a grocery store once, left bruises that lasted 2 weeks. Followed me to a friend's house and waited outside for 6 hours. Showed up at my old job so many times I got fired for creating a hostile environment. I look toward the door. Through the glass, I can see his silhouette across the street, leaning against a building, watching. My shift ends in 20 minutes, but 20 minutes might as well be 20 hours. The moment I step outside, he'll be there. And this time, there's no one to intervene, no friends nearby, no crowds to disappear into. The cafe is quiet now. Most of the afternoon rush has cleared out, leaving just a handful of people scattered across tables. The man in the corner, Dante Caruso, is still on his phone, still radiating that dangerous intensity that makes my skin prickle with awareness. I don't know what possesses me. Desperation, maybe. Or the bone-deep exhaustion of running for 8 months only to end up right back where I started. I grab a napkin, write in quick, messy letters. Table 7 needs water. Sarah reads it, nods, but I shake my head. Point at myself. I'll take it. She looks confused, but doesn't argue. I fill a glass pitcher with ice water, my heart hammering so hard I can feel it in my throat, and cross the cafe toward the corner booth. Dante Caruso looks up as I approach, and those black eyes lock onto mine with an intensity that makes me freeze mid-step. Up close, he's even more intimidating. Sharp features, a small scar cutting through his left eyebrow, the kind of face that's seen violence and dealt it back without hesitation. One of his guards shifts, blocking my path partially, but Caruso waves him off with a subtle gesture. I set the pitcher on the table, pour water into his glass with hands that shake visibly. He watches my hands, then my face, and I see his eyes narrow slightly. This is insane. I should walk away. Should go back behind the counter and wait for my shift to end and deal with Marcus the same way I always do. By running. But I'm so tired of running. I set down the pitcher, take a breath, and with hands that have never felt heavier, I sign, help. Just one word, clear, deliberate, unmistakable. Dante Caruso goes absolutely still. The phone in his hand drops to the table with a soft thud. His face drains of color. Actually drains, this dangerous man suddenly looking like he's seen a ghost. His eyes are locked on my hands, which I've lowered back to my sides, and I watch something crack in his carefully controlled expression. Say that again, he says, and I read his lips easily. His voice must be rough because his jaw is tight, tendons standing out in his neck. I sign it again, slower this time. Help. Please. He stands so abruptly his chair scrapes back. Both guards immediately tense, hands moving toward weapons I can't see but know are there. But Caruso isn't looking at them. He's staring at me like I've performed some kind of miracle or curse, and I can't tell which. His hands come up, and I watch in shock as he signs back. Who taught you? His ASL is flawless, fluid, the signs of someone who's been using the language for years, not someone who learned a few phrases for convenience. I'm deaf, I sign, my hands trembling now for entirely different reasons. Born deaf. ASL is my first language. Something profound shifts in his expression, pain so raw and naked that I almost step back from the force of it. His hands move again, careful and precise. What do you need help with? Before I can answer, I feel the vibration through the floor, heavy footsteps, the door chiming. And when I turn, my heart stops. Marcus is inside the cafe, his face red with anger, his bulk filling the doorway. He sees me standing at Caruso's table and his expression darkens further. Lily! I can read his lips even from across the room. We need to talk. Now. I take an involuntary step backward, bumping into the booth. Caruso's hand shoots out, steadies me without actually grabbing, and when I look up at him, his expression has transformed completely. The shock and pain are gone, replaced by something cold and calculating and absolutely lethal. Is that him? He signs. I nod, unable to find even the simplest signs through my panic. Stay behind me, Caruso signs, then turns to face Marcus. I watch as Marcus approaches, his hands clenched into fists, his mouth moving in what I know is a stream of accusations and demands. He's done this before. Made scenes, created chaos, forced me to comply through sheer embarrassment and fear. But he's never done it in front of someone like Dante Caruso. One of the guards intercepts Marcus 3 steps from our booth. I can't hear what's said, but I see Marcus's face go from angry to confused to outright hostile. He tries to push past, and the guard's hand lands on his chest, not hard, but firm. A warning. Caruso signs to me without taking his eyes off Marcus. How long has he been harassing you? 14 months. I sign back. We dated for 6 months. I left. He won't accept it's over. Does he know where you live? I nod miserably. Has he hurt you? Another nod. I don't elaborate. Don't need to. The understanding in Caruso's eyes tells me he's seen enough to fill in the gaps. He turns to his other guard, speaks, briefly. The guard nods, pulls out a phone, and starts typing. Then Caruso looks back at me, and his hands form words I never expected. You're coming with me. Right now. Get your things. I can't just leave. I sign, panicked. My shift is over. I'll handle it. His signs are sharp, brooking no argument. That man will not follow you out of this cafe. He will not come near you again. But I need you to trust me for the next 5 minutes. Can you do that? I should say no. Should recognize this for what it is, one dangerous man replacing another. But when I look at Marcus, who's now arguing loudly with the guard, drawing attention from the few remaining customers, and then back at Caruso, whose dark eyes hold something I can't quite name but desperately want to believe is genuine concern, I make a choice. I sign. Okay. Good girl. He signs, and the approval in his expression sends unexpected warmth through my chest. He gestures to his second guard. Marco will walk you to get your belongings. You have 2 minutes. Marco moves to my side, and I let him escort me behind the counter where Sarah stands with her mouth open, phone in hand like she's considering calling the police. What's happening? She signs frantically. I don't know. I sign back honestly. But I think it's going to be okay. I grab my jacket and purse from the small employee closet, my hands shaking so hard I can barely zip my bag. When I emerge, Caruso is standing near Marcus, speaking in a low voice that I can't read. But Marcus's face has gone from angry to pale. Whatever is being said, it's not a suggestion. It's a promise. Caruso turns, sees me ready, and something in his expression softens fractionally. He signs. Ready? I nod. What happens next unfolds like choreography. Marco and the other guard, whose name I don't know, position themselves between Marcus and me as we move toward the door. Caruso's hand finds the small of my back, warm through my jacket, guiding me forward. Marcus tries to follow, shouting something I don't need to hear to understand, but the guards block him efficiently, not violently, just immovably. The October air hits my face as we exit the cafe. A black SUV sits at the curb, engine running, back door already open. Caruso guides me toward it, and I climb inside before my brain can catch up to what I'm doing. The interior is all leather and luxury, and I sink into seats softer than anything I've ever touched. Caruso slides in beside me, and the guards take the front seats. The doors close with expensive, solid thuds. Through the tinted windows, I watch Marcus burst out of the cafe, looking frantically up and down the street. But we're already pulling away from the curb, merging into Chicago traffic, and his figure grows smaller and smaller until we turn a corner and he disappears completely. Only then do I realize I'm shaking, full-body tremors that I can't control. Caruso signs. You're safe now. Breathe. I try. Pull air into lungs that feel too small, too tight. My vision blurs with tears I've been holding back for months, and suddenly I'm crying, ugly, gasping sobs that shake my whole body. A warm hand lands on my shoulder, not grabbing, just present. When I look up through my tears, Caruso is watching me with an expression so gentle it breaks something inside me. I know, he signs with his free hand. I know it's terrifying, but I promise you, he will never touch you again. You don't understand, I sign back, tears still streaming. He'll find me. He always finds me. I moved across the country and he still found me. He found you when you were alone and vulnerable. Caruso signs, his movements precise and sure. You're not alone anymore. The SUV glides through streets I don't recognize, away from my neighborhood, away from everything familiar. I should be terrified, should be demanding to know where we're going, who this man really is, what he wants from me. Instead, I feel the strangest sense of calm settling over my panic. Like for the first time in 14 months, someone actually sees me. Not as a problem or a victim or a target, but as a person who deserves protection. Where are we going? I finally sign. Somewhere safe, he responds. Somewhere he can't reach you while I make arrangements. Arrangements for what? His hands pause and he looks at me with eyes that have seen too much darkness. For making sure Marcus understands that you're under my protection now. and that harming what's mine comes with consequences he can't afford to pay. The possessiveness in his signs should alarm me. Instead, it settles something deep in my chest. For 8 months, I've been invisible. Prey. Someone to be hunted and caught. The way Dante Caruso is looking at me right now, I'm something else entirely. Something precious. Something worth protecting. The SUV turns through iron gates that close behind us with solid, final clicks. The house at the end of the driveway isn't a house. It's a fortress disguised as modern architecture. 3 stories of steel and glass rising from manicured grounds, security cameras visible at every corner, guards stationed at intervals I count automatically. 1 near the gate, 2 by the entrance, another walking the perimeter with a dog that looks more wolf than German shepherd. This is what safety looks like when you have unlimited resources and unlimited enemies. The SUV stops beneath a covered portico, and Marco opens my door before I can reach for the handle. I step out on legs that feel disconnected from my body, clutching my purse like it's the only familiar thing left in the world. Caruso appears at my side, and I feel the warmth of his hand hovering near my elbow, close enough to steady me if I stumble, but not touching. Respecting boundaries, even as he's brought me to his home without really asking permission. The front door opens to reveal an older woman, maybe 60, with silver-threaded dark hair pulled into a neat bun. She wears simple black pants and a cream blouse, and her face creases with immediate concern when she sees me. Caruso signs as he speaks, and I realize he's doing it for my benefit. "Teresa, this is Lily. She'll be staying with us. Please prepare the blue guest room." Teresa's eyes widen slightly, but she recovers quickly. Her hands move in slow, careful ASL. "Welcome, dear. Come. You look frozen." The kindness in her signs makes my eyes burn with fresh tears. I follow her inside while Caruso speaks quietly with his guards, and I try not to stare at the interior like the poverty-stricken barista I am. Marble floors, original artwork, a chandelier that probably costs more than I've earned in my entire life. But underneath the wealth, there are human touches. A book left open on a side table, reading glasses folded beside it, fresh flowers in a crystal vase that someone actually arranged, not just ordered from a florist. Someone lives here. Really lives here, not just exists in a showroom of wealth. Teresa leads me up a curved staircase to the second floor, down a hallway lined with closed doors. The blue room is at the end, and when she opens it, I have to stop myself from gasping. It's beautiful. Soft blue walls, white linens on a bed that could fit 4 people, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking gardens I can see even in the fading October light. An attached bathroom visible through an open door, all marble and gleaming fixtures. "I'll bring you some tea," Teresa signs, "and something to eat. You look like you haven't had a proper meal in days." She's not wrong. I've been too anxious to eat, too worried about money to spend it on anything beyond rice and canned soup. "Thank you," I sign, the words feeling inadequate. Teresa touches my shoulder gently. "Mr. Caruso is a good man. Complicated, but good. You're safe here, Lily. I promise." She leaves, and I'm alone in luxury I've never experienced. I sink onto the edge of the bed, and the mattress is so soft I almost moan. How long has it been since I slept on anything besides my ancient futon with springs that dig into my back? My phone buzzes in my pocket. I pull it out with shaking hands, already knowing what I'll find. Marcus. Who was that? Who the fuck was that guy? Marcus. You think you can just leave with some rich asshole? Marcus. You're mine, Lily. You don't get to just walk away. Marcus. I'm coming for you. I'll find you. I always find you. The messages continue, escalating in anger and desperation. I should block him. Should have blocked him months ago. but some terrified part of me has always believed that staying aware of his rage is safer than being blind to it. I'm staring at the screen when the lights flicker. Not from electrical issues, but from someone getting my attention. Caruso stands in the doorway, and I don't know how long he's been there. He signs, "May I come in?" I nod, setting my phone face down on the nightstand. He enters but doesn't approach, maintaining distance. The better light of the bedroom, I can see details I missed in the cafe. The threads of silver at his temples, the faint lines around his eyes that suggest he's older than I first thought. Maybe late 30s. The kind of face that's lived through things that age you faster than years. "Teresa is bringing food." He signs. "When did you last eat?" "Yesterday morning," I admit. "I've been too nervous." His jaw tightens. "Because of Marcus?" I nod. He's quiet for a moment, and I watch emotions flicker across his face. Anger. Something that looks like pain. Determination. Then his hands move. "I need to ask you some questions. About him. About the situation. I know it's difficult, but I need to understand what we're dealing with." "Okay." I sign, even though every instinct screams to avoid reliving it all. Caruso pulls the armchair from the corner closer to the bed, sits down, and gives me his complete attention. "How long were you together?" 6 months. We met in Seattle where I lived before. He seemed nice at first, attentive, caring. I pause, hands heavy with shame. I didn't see the warning signs until it was too late. What were the warning signs? My hands tremble as I sign. Jealousy, possessiveness. He didn't like when I spent time with friends. Got angry if I didn't text back immediately. Small things that got bigger. Then one night he grabbed my arm hard enough to bruise when I said I wanted to go home instead of staying at his place. Caruso's expression darkens, but he doesn't interrupt. "I broke up with him the next day," I continue. "That's when it got really bad. He started showing up everywhere. My work, my apartment. He'd wait outside for hours, send hundreds of messages. I got a restraining order, but it didn't matter. He'd just find ways around it. Stand exactly 5 feet away. Have friends deliver messages. Make my life hell while technically staying legal." "So you ran," Caruso signs. I ran. Used all my savings to move to Chicago 8 months ago. Got a new phone number. Didn't tell anyone where I was going except my mom, and she lives in Taiwan, so I thought I was safe. Tears blur my vision again. But he found me 3 weeks ago. Started the same pattern. Following me. Messaging. Waiting outside my apartment. "Did you call the police here?" I nod miserably. They said without a current restraining order or evidence of immediate threat, there wasn't much they could do. Told me to document everything and come back if he actually did something. But I know Marcus. He's careful. He knows exactly how far he can push without crossing legal lines. Caruso stands abruptly, and I watch him pace to the window, hands clenched into fists. When he turns back, his face is controlled, but his eyes burn with barely contained fury. "That ends now," he signs with sharp, decisive movements. "Marcus will not come near you again. He will not message you. He will not wait outside your apartment or your work. He will disappear from your life. Completely." "You can't promise that," I sign, even though I desperately want to believe him. "You don't understand how obsessed he is." "No." Caruso crosses back to me, and the intensity in his gaze makes my breath catch. "You don't understand who I am or what I'm capable of. Marcus is a bully who preys on women he thinks are helpless. When faced with real consequences, real power, men like him crumble. If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. "Who are you?" I sign, the question I should have asked in the cafe. Really? He's quiet for a long moment, clearly weighing how much truth to share. Then, my family controls significant business interests in Chicago. Some legitimate, some less so. I have resources, connections, and the ability to make problems disappear. Marcus is a problem. Therefore, Marcus will disappear. The casual way he says it should terrify me. Instead, I feel a weight lifting from my shoulders. I don't want you to hurt him, I sign quickly. I just want him to leave me alone. I won't hurt him unless he makes it necessary, Caruso signs, but I will make him understand that you're under my protection. That touching you, approaching you, even thinking about you comes with consequences he can't afford. A knock interrupts us. Teresa enters with a tray, soup that smells like heaven, fresh bread, tea in a delicate china cup. She sets it on the desk near the window, signs, "Eat, you're too thin," and leaves with a knowing look at Caruso. He gestures to the food. "Eat. We'll talk more after." I have questions, I sign, not moving toward the tray. I know, and I'll answer them. But first, you need to take care of yourself. He stands, moves toward the door. I have some calls to make. Rest, eat. This room is yours for as long as you need it. How long will that be? I sign, panic rising again. I can't stay here forever. I have a job, an apartment, a life. Caruso pauses in the doorway. Your apartment is being watched as we speak. One of my men will collect essential items tonight. As for your job, I'll handle that as well. You can't just take over my life, I sign, frustration mixing with fear. I'm not taking it over, he signs back, his expression softening slightly. I'm protecting it. There's a difference. But Lily, I need you to understand something. He steps back into the room and the air seems to thicken with his presence. The moment you signed help to me, the moment I saw those hands form those words. He stops, emotion flickering across his face. Everything changed. I can't explain it rationally. But you're under my protection now, whether you asked for it or not. And I don't take that responsibility lightly. Because your wife knew sign language, I signed slowly, watching his reaction. Pain. Raw and naked and so profound I almost look away from the intensity of it. Yes, he signs after a long moment. My wife was deaf. We were married for 8 years. She died 3 years ago. I'm sorry, I sign, the words feeling inadequate. So am I. He straightens and the vulnerable moment passes as he locks it away behind controlled composure. Eat. Rest. We'll talk in the morning. This time when he leaves, he closes the door softly behind him. I sit alone in the blue room, surrounded by luxury I don't deserve, protected by a man I don't know, and for the first time in 14 months, I let myself cry. Really cry. Not the panicked sobs from the car, but deep, wrenching tears for everything I've lost and everything I've survived, and the strange, impossible hope blooming in my chest that maybe, finally, someone strong enough to make Marcus go away has decided I'm worth protecting. The soup is still warm when I finally drag myself to the desk. I eat mechanically at first, then with growing hunger as my body remembers what real food tastes like. The bread is fresh baked, probably from Teresa's kitchen. The tea is perfect. Not too hot, sweetened exactly how I prefer, even though no one asked. How does he know? How does Caruso know these small details about me? My phone buzzes again. I ignore it. Let Marcus rage into the void. For tonight at least. He can't reach me. I finish eating, wash my face in the marble bathroom with products that probably cost more than my entire skincare routine, and discover that the walk-in closet is stocked with clothes in exactly my size. Pajamas, casual wear, even a few dresses that look like they've never been worn. This isn't coincidence. This is preparation. The realization should disturb me. Instead, it makes me feel seen in a way I've never experienced. Someone anticipated my needs. Someone cared enough to make sure I'd have everything I required. I change into silk pajamas that feel like water against my skin and climb into the bed. The sheets are Egyptian cotton, soft as clouds, and the mattress molds to my body like it was designed specifically for me. I should be plotting escape, should be calling friends or family or figuring out how to reclaim my independence. Instead, I sink into the most comfortable bed I've ever experienced, in the safest place I've been in over a year, and let exhaustion pull me under into dreamless sleep. I wake to sunlight streaming through windows I forgot to close, and the faint vibration of footsteps in the hallway outside my room. For one disoriented moment, I don't remember where I am. Then reality crashes back. Caruso's house. Protection. Marcus somewhere out there. Hopefully far away. My phone shows 9:47 a.m. I've slept nearly 15 hours. The kind of deep, exhausted sleep that only comes when your body finally feels safe enough to stop maintaining constant vigilance. There's a note slid under my door, written in precise handwriting. Breakfast in the kitchen when you're ready. Take your set time. D. I shower in the palatial bathroom, use toiletries that smell expensive, and dress in jeans and a soft sweater from the closet that fit perfectly. Looking at myself in the full-length mirror, I barely recognize the woman staring back. Clean, rested, almost normal. The house reveals itself as I navigate downstairs following the smell of coffee and bacon. More lived in than I'd thought last night, with personal touches scattered throughout. Photographs in simple frames showing Caruso with people who share his dark features. A woman's laugh I can't hear but can feel echoing from somewhere deeper in the house. The kitchen is massive, all stainless steel and marble, where Teresa works at the stove. She smiles when she sees me, gestures to the breakfast bar where coffee and food wait. Mr. Caruso is in his office, she signs. He said to tell you he'll join you shortly. I sit, pour coffee that's exactly the right temperature, and try not to think about how surreal this all is. Yesterday, I was serving lattes to strangers. Today, I'm eating breakfast in a crime lord's mansion. Caruso appears 20 minutes later, dressed casually in dark jeans and a white button-down with sleeves rolled to his elbows. He looks different without the suit. Younger, more approachable. The tattoos I glimpsed yesterday are visible now. Intricate designs that wrap around his forearms and disappear beneath the rolled fabric. Good morning, he signs, sliding onto the stool beside me. You slept well? Better than I have in months, I admit. Thank you. For everything. Don't thank me yet. He accepts coffee from Teresa, who disappears discreetly. We need to discuss what happens next. My stomach clenches. What does happen next? He's quiet for a moment, clearly choosing his words carefully. I had my people investigate Marcus last night. Thoroughly. What we found isn't pretty. I set down my coffee cup with shaking hands. He has a history. Caruso continues signing. You're not the first woman he's harassed. There are 3 others we found record of. 2 in Seattle, 1 in Portland before that. Same pattern. Intense courtship, escalating control, violence when they try to leave, then stalking that drives them out of the city. Horror floods through me. He's done this before? Multiple times, and he's gotten away with it because he's careful. Stays just inside legal boundaries. Manipulates the system. Caruso's jaw tightens. But his pattern also makes him predictable. We know his next moves. What are his next moves? I sign, dreading the answer. He'll try to find you. He's already been to your apartment building this morning. We have surveillance footage of him waiting outside for 2 hours before giving up. He's called grounds and pages 4 times asking for you. And he's posting on social media trying to portray himself as a concerned ex-boyfriend whose girlfriend disappeared with a dangerous stranger. I drop my head into my hands. This is my nightmare. No. Caruso's hand lands on my shoulder, warm and steady. This is him panicking, making mistakes, getting sloppy because for the first time he's dealing with someone who won't be intimidated. I look up at him through my fingers. What did you do? I had him visited last night. 3 of my men paid him a call at his apartment. They didn't hurt him. Caruso adds quickly, seeing my expression. They just delivered a message. That you're under my protection. That any further contact with you will be considered a hostile act against my family, and that hostile acts come with permanent consequences. And he believed them? He knows who I am now. He spent 6 hours researching my family after my men left. Caruso's smile is all teeth and no warmth. Men like Marcus understand power. They respect it when they can't bully their way around it. He's afraid now, as he should be. Relief and guilt war in my chest. I don't want to be responsible for— You're not responsible for anything, Caruso interrupts, his signs sharp. Marcus is responsible for his own actions. You asked for help. I'm providing it. That's all that's happening here. Is it? I sign back, finding courage I didn't know I possessed. Because it feels like there's more to this. You don't just protect random baristas from stalkers. You brought me to your home, filled a closet with my size clothes, knew how I take my coffee. This isn't simple protection. He's quiet for a long moment, and I watch emotions flicker across his face. Surprise, calculation, something that might be respect. You're right. He finally signs. This isn't simple. Nothing about this is simple. Then tell me the truth. Why did you help me? Really? Caruso stands, moves to the window overlooking the garden. His back is to me when he starts signing, and I have to move to see his hands. My wife's name was Isabella. She was born deaf, like you. We met when I was 27. She was volunteering at a community center my family sponsored. She taught me ASL because I wanted to communicate with her properly, not just through interpreters or written notes. He pauses, hands still, before continuing. We married 6 months later. Everyone said it was too fast, that we didn't know each other well enough. But when you find someone who sees past everything you are to who you could be, time doesn't matter. His hands move slowly, weighted with grief. Isabella made me want to be better. She was kind where I was hard, gentle where I was violent. She believed people deserved second chances, even people like me. How did she die? I signed gently. Cancer, ovarian. By the time we found it, it was stage 4. His hands clench briefly. I used every resource I had, the best doctors, experimental treatments. Nothing worked. She died in this house, in our bedroom, 3 years ago last month. My eyes burn with tears. I'm so sorry. After she died, I removed everything that reminded me of her. The photos, her clothes, her art supplies. She loved to paint. I couldn't bear seeing them empty, unused. I threw myself into work, into the business. I stopped signing because there was no one to sign to, and every gesture reminded me of conversations we'd never have again. He turns to face me, and the pain in his eyes is staggering. Then yesterday you signed help to me, and for one impossible second I thought. His hands still, unable to complete the thought. I thought she'd come back, that I was hallucinating, that grief had finally broken me. But I'm not her. I signed softly. No, you're not. He moves closer, and there's something intense in his gaze. You're you. Lily Chen, barista, survivor. Someone brave enough to ask a dangerous stranger for help because you'd run out of other options. But when I saw those signs, when I heard ASL again after 3 years of silence, something in me woke up. Or broke open. I'm not sure which. So you brought me here because I remind you of your wife? I need to understand this. Need to know if I'm just a replacement for something he lost. No. Caruso's signs are emphatic. I brought you here because you needed help, and I have the means to provide it. Because I saw a woman in danger and remembered all the times Isabella talked about how the world ignores people like her. People like you. Because for the first time in 3 years, I felt something other than numbness and grief. Purpose, maybe. Or responsibility. I don't know yet. He sits back down beside me, and we're close enough now that I can see the flecks of amber in his dark eyes. What I do know, he continues, is that you're safe here, that Marcus will leave you alone if he values his life, and that you have time to figure out what you want to do next without fear. No pressure, no expectations, just safety while you heal. How long? I sign. How long can I stay? As long as you need. Days, weeks, months. There's no expiration date on protection. It should feel suffocating. Instead, it feels like the first deep breath I've taken in over a year. I'll need to go back to my apartment eventually. I sign. Get my things. Handle my life. We'll arrange it. Supervised. Safe. When you're ready. And my job? I spoke with the owner of Grounds and Pages this morning. You're on indefinite medical leave. Stress-related. Fully paid. Your position will be waiting whenever you want to return. I stare at him. You can't just rearrange my entire life. I already did. No apology. No justification. Just fact. You can be angry about it if you want. But you're safe and fed and no one is threatening you. That's what matters right now. He's right. And I hate that he's right. My phone buzzes in my pocket. It hasn't stopped, actually. Marcus has sent 43 messages since I woke up, each one more desperate than the last. Caruso notices. Let me see. I hand over the phone reluctantly. Watch his expression darken as he scrolls through Marcus's increasingly unhinged messages. He's spiraling, Caruso signs, handing the phone back. Good. That makes him predictable. By tomorrow, he'll either accept defeat or do something stupid. Either way, we'll be ready. And if he does something stupid, then I'll handle it permanently. He says it so calmly, like discussing the weather. But I don't think it'll come to that. Bullies like Marcus need victims who can't fight back. You're not a victim anymore, Lily. You have me. And that changes everything. The certainty in his signs settles something deep in my chest. We spend the rest of the morning in strange domestic normalcy. Caruso shows me the house, the library filled with books in multiple languages, the gym in the basement, the gardens that Isabella designed and Teresa maintains. We communicate entirely in ASL, and I watch him relax incrementally as we sign back and forth. You're rusty, I tease after he fumbles a sign. How long since you've had a real conversation in ASL? 3 years, he admits. It feels good, like coming home to something I'd locked away. Your wife would want you to keep signing, I venture carefully. To remember her that way, through language, not absence. Something shifts in his expression, grief mixed with gratitude. Yes, she would. That afternoon, one of Caruso's men arrives with boxes from my apartment. My clothes, my books, the few personal items I've accumulated. Everything packed carefully, nothing missing. We were thorough, the guard signs. Apparently, Caruso has taught his entire staff basic ASL since Isabella. Is there anything else you need? I shake my head, overwhelmed by the care taken with my belongings. That night, we have dinner together in a smaller dining room, just the two of us. Teresa has made something elaborate: chicken and wine sauce, fresh vegetables, bread that melts on my tongue. Tell me about you, Caruso signs between bites. Not the trauma, not Marcus. Just you. Who is Lily Chen when she's not running? The question catches me off guard. It's been so long since anyone asked about me instead of my circumstances. I'm an artist. I signed slowly, the admission feeling vulnerable. Or I was. I studied illustration at school before I ran out of money. I love drawing, painting, creating things that make people feel something. I had to give it up when my mom got sick, and I needed to work full-time. Your mother is in Taiwan? I nod. She has early onset dementia, lives in a care facility there. I send most of my money to help cover costs. It's why I'm always broke. Between her care and student loans, I have nothing left. Caruso's expression softens. How often do you see her? I haven't been back in 2 years. Can't afford the flight. The admission makes my chest ache. And now with the dementia, I don't know if she'd even recognize me. She would, he signs with surprising gentleness. Mothers always know their children. We talk for hours about art and books and the small things that make us human. He tells me about Isabella's painting, how she captured light in ways that seemed impossible, how she'd spend hours in the garden sketching flowers and birds, how she made him laugh even during the darkest moments of running his family's empire. And I realized something startling. I like him. Not just because he's protecting me, but because underneath the danger and the power and the carefully controlled exterior, Dante Caruso is a man who loved his wife deeply and never recovered from losing her. We're two broken people sitting in a mansion, signing in a language the world doesn't hear, finding unexpected comfort in shared grief and new beginnings. When I finally head upstairs to sleep, exhausted but content, Caruso stops me at the base of the staircase. Lily. He signs my name carefully. Thank you. For what? For reminding me what it feels like to sign again. To communicate in Isabella's language. I'd forgotten how much I missed it. You're welcome, I sign, smiling. And Dante, thank you for seeing me. Really seeing me, not just as a problem to solve. Something warm flickers in his eyes. You were never just a problem. I climb the stairs feeling lighter than I have in months, and when I collapse into the too comfortable bed, I fall asleep within minutes. No nightmares, no panic, just deep, restful sleep. For the first time in 14 months, I feel safe. 7 days. That's how long I've been living in Dante Caruso's mansion, and the strangest part is how quickly it started to feel normal. Waking up in the blue room with sunlight streaming through windows that overlook gardens Isabella designed. Breakfast with Teresa, who's teaching me Italian phrases between her broken ASL and my fumbling attempts at pronunciation I can't hear. Afternoons in the library, rediscovering the art books I'd abandoned when survival became more important than dreams. And Dante. Every evening he finds me, sometimes in the library, sometimes in the garden, once in the kitchen where I was attempting to help Teresa bake bread. We talk, or rather, we sign. Hours of conversation that flow easier each day as he shakes off 3 years of rust, and I learn the subtle differences in how he forms certain words, the personal flourishes that make his ASL uniquely his. He tells me about the legitimate businesses he's transitioning his family's empire toward: real estate development, tech investments, trying to build something clean from foundations stained with his father's legacy. I tell him about the art I want to create someday, the illustrated children's books I've sketched in margins and napkins, the dream of making stories accessible to deaf children who deserve to see themselves as heroes. We don't talk about Marcus, don't acknowledge the elephant in the room, that this strange domestic bubble exists only because a dangerous man decided I was worth protecting, until the 8th morning, when everything changes. I'm in the library, sketching in a notebook Dante provided. Real artist-grade paper, expensive pencils that glide like butter when vibrations through the floor alert me to footsteps. Heavy, urgent. Multiple people moving quickly. I look up to find Dante in the doorway, and my breath catches at his expression. The careful control he always maintains has cracked, revealing something cold and lethal beneath. "We need to talk," he signs, his movements sharp with barely contained fury. "Now." Fear spikes through me. I set down my pencil with shaking hands and follow him to his office, a room I haven't entered before. Dark wood, leather furniture, walls lined with monitors showing security feeds from around the property and beyond. Marco is there, and two other men I recognize from the house's security detail. They're all looking at a laptop screen with expressions ranging from anger to disgust. "What happened?" I sign to Dante, my heart hammering. He doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he turns the laptop toward me, and what I see makes my stomach drop. It's a video, posted on social media. Marcus, looking directly into the camera with red-rimmed eyes and the kind of calculated vulnerability that I know is performance. Dante must have captions enabled, because text scrolls across the bottom as Marcus speaks. "I'm begging anyone who sees this. If you know where Lily Chen is, please contact me. She was kidnapped a week ago by a dangerous man named Dante Caruso. She's deaf and vulnerable, and I'm terrified for her safety. The police won't help because Caruso has connections, power, money. But I know Lily wouldn't just leave. She's being held against her will, and I need to find her before it's too late. Please, if you have any information, any sightings, contact me. I just want to know she's safe." The video has been viewed 43,000 times, shared hundreds. Comments range from sympathetic to outraged, with dozens of people tagging news outlets and advocacy groups for the deaf community. I sink into the nearest chair, vision swimming. "This is bad," I sign, the understatement of the year. "This is really bad?" "It's strategic," Dante signs back, his jaw tight. "Marcus knows he can't physically get to you, so he's weaponizing public perception, making himself the concerned ex-boyfriend, painting me as the villain, and positioning you as a helpless victim who needs rescuing. Some people will believe him," I sign, panic rising. Deaf advocacy groups, journalists looking for a story about a vulnerable woman being held by organized crime. "Let them believe him," Dante interrupts, his signs forceful. "We have the truth. We have evidence. And more importantly, we have you. When you tell your story, when you explain who Marcus really is, this narrative collapses." "I can't go public," I sign frantically. "I can't be on camera, giving interviews, reliving everything. That's what he wants. To force me out of hiding, to make me vulnerable again." Dante crouches in front of my chair, taking my hands in his to still their frantic movement. His touch is warm, grounding. "Look at me," he signs when I lower my eyes. "Lily, look at me." I do. Those dark eyes bore into mine with an intensity that makes my breath catch. "I will not let him hurt you," Dante signs slowly, deliberately. "Not physically, not emotionally, not through public manipulation. Marcus has made a critical mistake. He's drawn attention to himself, to his pattern of behavior. My team is already compiling evidence from his previous victims, documentation of his stalking, everything we need to destroy his credibility. But in the meantime, people think I'm being held hostage. My hands shake even in his grip. They think you're the monster." Something flickers in his expression, pain, quickly masked. "People have thought I was a monster for years. That's not new. What matters is what you think." The question implicit in his signs makes my chest tighten. "I don't think you're a monster." Then we fight back together. He releases my hands, stands. "Marco has contacted a lawyer who specializes in harassment cases. She's deaf herself, advocates for victims in situations exactly like yours. She'll help us build a case that exposes Marcus for what he really is." "A case takes time," I sign. "Weeks, months, And in the meantime, Marcus controls the narrative. Not if we move faster. Dante turns to Marco, signs, and speaks simultaneously. Contact the victims we identified. Offer them protection, resources, whatever they need to come forward. I want signed statements by tomorrow. And find out who Marcus's employer is. I want to know if his job gives him any leverage we need to neutralize. Marco nods, already typing on his phone. Dante looks back at me. Today, you stay here. Tomorrow, we make a plan. But Lily, I need you to trust me. Can you do that? I should hesitate. Should question whether trust is wise when I barely know this man. But when I look into his eyes, I see the same determination that's kept him protecting me for 8 days, despite having no obligation to do so. I trust you, I sign. The relief that crosses his face is profound. The rest of the day passes in tense preparation. Dante disappears into his office for hours, emerging only to sign updates. 2 of Marcus's previous victims have agreed to speak with the lawyer. Marcus's employer, a tech company in Seattle, has been contacted about his harassment of multiple women. The video is being reported for containing false allegations. I try to distract myself with sketching, but my hands won't cooperate. Everything I draw comes out jagged, anxious, wrong. Teresa finds me in the garden around 4, sitting on a stone bench surrounded by Isabella's roses. She doesn't sign anything, just sits beside me in companionable silence, her presence a quiet comfort. When the sun starts to set, painting the sky in oranges and purples I can see but not hear accompanying birdsong for, Dante appears on the path. Walk with me? He signs. I stand, follow him deeper into the garden, away from the house's watching windows. We stop at a fountain, simple stone, water cascading in patterns that catch the fading light. I need to tell you something. Dante signs, his expression serious. Something I should have said days ago. My heart rate picks up. Okay. When Isabella died, I made a choice. I decided that caring about people, really caring, beyond family obligation, was too dangerous, too painful. I built walls, focused on business, convinced myself that being alone was safer than risking that kind of loss again. He pauses, hands still for a moment before continuing. Then you signed help to me in that cafe, and every wall I'd built started cracking. Dante, let me finish, he signs gently. These past 8 days, talking with you, signing with you, watching you rediscover art and safety and pieces of yourself Marcus tried to destroy, it's reminded me what it feels like to care about someone, not because of obligation or memory, but because of who you are, present tense, right now. My breath catches. What are you saying? I'm saying this stopped being just protection somewhere around day 3, Dante signs, stepping closer. I'm saying, when I see Marcus's face on that video, trying to take you away, something primal in me wants to eliminate the threat permanently. I'm saying I look forward to our evening conversations more than anything else in my day. And I'm saying that terrifies me, because I swore I'd never let myself care like this again. The vulnerability in his signs, in his expression, makes my eyes burn with tears. I care about you too, I sign, the admission feeling monumental. More than I should after only 8 days. You've given me safety and kindness and reminded me what it feels like to be seen as a person instead of a problem. But Dante, I don't know if what I'm feeling is real or just gratitude or trauma bonding or it's real, he interrupts, his hands gentle. Or we're 2 people who found each other at the exact moment we both needed someone to understand. Or it's complicated and messy and too fast and absolutely genuine all at the same time. He's right. Everything he's signing is right. I'm scared, I admit, of Marcus finding me, of this being temporary, of losing the first safety I've had in over a year, of caring about you and having it end badly. I'm scared too, Dante signs, and the honesty in his face makes my heart ache. Of failing to protect you. Of you realizing I'm exactly the monster people think I am. Of having something precious again and watching it slip away. But Lily, I'd rather be scared with you than safe and alone. The fountain burbles behind us, water catching the last rays of sunlight. Somewhere in the house, lights are turning on against the approaching dusk. And standing here in Isabella's garden with this complicated, dangerous, unexpectedly gentle man, I make a choice. I close the distance between us and sign against his chest, where he can see. Then let's be scared together. His arms come around me, careful and warm, and I let myself lean into his strength. We stand there as the sky darkens, two broken people holding each other up, and for the first time since this started, I let myself believe that maybe safety isn't temporary. Maybe it's something we can build together. The lawyer arrives the next morning. Her name is Rachel Kim, and she's a force of nature, late 40s, sharp suit, carrying herself with the confidence of someone who's won battles most people don't even know are being fought. She's also deaf, and her ASL is rapid-fire professional as she settles into Dante's office with a laptop and files that make my stomach clench. I've reviewed everything Mr. Caruso's team compiled, Rachel signs. Marcus Holloway has harassed 4 women over the past 6 years. Same pattern every time. Intense courtship, escalating control, violence when they resist, then stalking that drives them out of their cities. You're victim number 4, but you're the first one who had resources to fight back. Resources meaning Dante, I sign. Exactly. Rachel's expression is serious. Marcus made a critical error posting that video. He thought public sympathy would protect him, but what he's actually done is create a documented timeline of his obsession. Combined with statements from his previous victims and evidence of his stalking behavior, we have grounds for a restraining order that actually has teeth, and potentially criminal charges. Hope flutters in my chest. How long will it take? The restraining order? We can file today and have it approved within 72 hours given the evidence. Criminal charges take longer, but I have contacts in the DA's office who take stalking cases seriously, especially ones with clear patterns of repeated behavior. Dante signs from his position near the window. What about the video? The public narrative that Lily is being held against her will? Rachel's smile is sharp. That's where we flip the script. Lily records her own video, tells her story in her own words, in ASL with captions. We post it on the same platforms Marcus used, but we control the message. Vulnerable woman seeks help from someone with resources to protect her. Abusive ex-boyfriend weaponizes public concern to continue his harassment. The truth, presented clearly, tends to win. My hands feel numb. I have to go public. You don't have to do anything, Rachel signs firmly. But if you want this to end, really end, not just pause until Marcus finds another angle, then yes. Public accountability is our strongest weapon. Once his pattern is exposed, once his face is attached to serial stalker instead of concerned boyfriend, his power evaporates. I look at Dante. He's watching me carefully, and I can see he's leaving this choice entirely to me. If I do this, I sign slowly. If I make a video, can you guarantee Marcus won't retaliate? I can guarantee he'll try, Rachel signs honestly. But with the restraining order in place and criminal investigation opened, any contact he makes becomes evidence against him. And Mr. Caruso's security measures ensure he can't physically reach you. So I trade privacy for safety. You trade silence for power, Rachel corrects. Right now, Marcus controls the narrative. Your voice changes that. I think about the 8 days I've spent in this house. The slow rebuilding of myself, piece by piece. The art I've started creating again. The conversations with Dante that make me feel seen and understood. the life I'm starting to imagine beyond just surviving. Marcus wants to take that away, wants to reduce me back to victim, to prey, to someone who runs and hides and never fights back. I'm done running. Okay, I sign, my hands steady despite my racing heart. I'll make the video. We film it that afternoon in the library, natural light streaming through windows, bookshelves visible in the background. Rachel coaches me through what to say, but the words, the signs, are mine. I sit in front of the camera and tell my story. About meeting Marcus, about the escalating abuse, about running to Chicago and him finding me anyway, about signing help to a stranger in a cafe because I was desperate and out of options, about Dante offering protection when the system couldn't, about choosing safety over silence. My hands shake at first, but as I sign, something shifts. The fear that's lived in my chest for 14 months starts to dissolve, replaced by anger. Righteous, burning anger at a man who thought he could terrorize me forever. When I finish, Rachel reviews the footage and signs. Perfect, authentic, powerful. This is going to change everything. We post it simultaneously across multiple platforms. Within an hour, it's been shared 500 times. Within 3 hours, 10,000. By evening, Marcus's video has been taken down for violating harassment policies, and Frag Believe Lily is trending. The deaf community rallies immediately. Advocacy groups share my video with statements of support. Journalists start investigating Marcus's background, finding the other victims, uncovering the pattern Rachel documented. And somewhere in Seattle, Marcus watches his carefully constructed narrative collapse in real time. Dante finds me on the balcony outside my room as the sun sets, watching the sky turn purple and gold. "How do you feel?" he signs. Terrified, I admit. Relieved, powerful, like I just jumped off a cliff and don't know if I'm falling or flying. "You're flying," Dante signs with certainty, "and you just changed everything." His phone buzzes, he checks it, and his expression darkens. "What?" I sign, fear spiking. "Rachel just sent this. Marcus posted a response video 20 minutes ago." He shows me his phone. Marcus looks different. Disheveled, manic. The careful victim persona completely abandoned. The captions show him ranting about lies and manipulation, about how I brainwashed by Caruso money, about how he'll prove the truth. But underneath the bluster, I see something I've never seen before. Desperation. Marcus is losing control and he knows it. "He's spiraling," Dante signs. "This is good. When men like him panic, they make mistakes. Or they get dangerous," I sign back. "Let him try." Dante's expression goes cold. "My security team has tracked his location to a motel in Lincoln Park. We're watching him. If he so much as looks at a bus heading this direction, we'll know." "I don't want you to hurt him," I sign quickly. "I won't. Unless he makes it necessary." Dante turns to face me fully. "But Lily, you need to understand. Marcus isn't going to just accept defeat. Men like him never do. There's going to be an escalation before this ends." "What kind of escalation?" "I don't know yet. But whatever it is, we'll be ready." His hands gentle. "And you'll be safe. I promise you that." I want to believe him, want to trust that all the security measures and legal protections and powerful connections will be enough. But I've learned the hard way that promises can't always stop determined predators. That night, I lie awake in the blue room, staring at the ceiling, listening to vibrations I can feel but not hear. The house settling, guards walking perimeters, the distant hum of city life beyond the gates. My phone sits on the nightstand, notifications silenced but visible. Messages of support from strangers. Threats from Marcus's friends claiming I'm lying. News outlets requesting interviews. The world knows my story now. There's no going back to invisible barista, to quiet survival, to pretending everything is fine. I've made myself a target by fighting back. But as I finally drift toward sleep, I think about Dante's words. You're flying. Maybe he's right. Maybe this terrifying free fall is actually freedom. And maybe, just maybe, I'm strong enough to survive whatever comes next. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.